everybody, and welcome to Nathan on Shuffle and to my latest episode of New Music Weekly. It's February 24th, 2023, and this is the show where I give you guys the top 5 prog news headlines for the week, give you guys some prog singles to go check out, and give you updates on the channel and what's going on here on Nathan on Shuffle. So thank you guys so much for joining me. As always, subscribing would be very much appreciated. It helps the channel, and it helps me to know that this channel is successful. So if you guys wouldn't mind subscribing to the channel, if you haven't yet, that would be much appreciated. For those already subscribed, thank you so much for your support. Drop a like or a comment on the video if you feel so inclined. Everything really helps to improve the channel, so I really appreciate all of that. So thank you guys so much, and let's get into the top 5 prog headlines today. So first of all, a new release today from Rick Wakeman of Yes fame called The Gallery of the Imagination. So this is Rick Wakeman and the English Rock Ensemble. It's a diverse record featuring prog pieces with soaring Moog solos, solo piano numbers, and 8 unconventional vocal tracks. The lineup for the album features bassist Lee Pomeroy, guitarist Dave Kalkuhan, drummer Ash Sowen, and on vocals Haley Sanderson. So pretty cool lineup of musicians. It seems like it's the same lineup as the previous album by Rick called The Red Planet, which was pretty well received and regarded. The concept of this album is basically attending like a different art gallery with different pieces. It basically is celebrating his love of going to museums and art galleries, seeing the different types of art. So a gallery of the imagination, as Rick Wakeman says, people can paint their own mind pictures to the different types of music that are on the album. It's very diverse, and for me it works very well because the concept holds it all together. So Rick explains it's a very tactile album that people can actually touch the music. So should be a pretty cool record to check out from Rick Wakeman. Very legendary figure in the progressive realm through his keyboards with the band Yes, through much of their career, so should be a really cool album to check out. Also out today, on the other side of the spectrum, more of a heavier affair if you're into the more metal side of the prog world, Hypno 5E, I'm not quite sure how to pronounce it, but their album Sheol, a French avant-garde metal band with some heavy vocals and cinematic styles to their music. There are some aggressive, almost growling style vocals here, but it's blended with a lot of cool proggy cinematic touchstones, some post-metal, just a really cool blend of sounds that I was really enjoying listening to it this morning. So wanted to point that one out as another cool release. Let me know in the comments other big prog related releases that came out today. I'm sure there are others that I didn't mention, but these were the 2 that stood out to me from my exploration into it. So number 2, kind of a follow-up from last week where I talked quite a bit about the Roger Waters, David Gilmour type battle, and Roger Waters re-recording Dark Side of the Moon, all of that type of stuff. We got a little bit of an update on that stuff with Roger Waters giving a little bit of almost a compliment to his fellow bandmate David Gilmour, because I believe he was responding to an article that was written by the New Statesman, which Waters was not a fan of, which basically the article attempted to quote Roger Waters by saying that that Gilmour's guitar solos were horrible on Dark Side of the Moon and on other albums. But Roger Waters says that that's not the case at all. He would never say something like that. And he says, in my albeit biased view, Dave's solos on those albums constitute a collection of some of the very best guitar solos in the history of rock and roll. So basically stick it to the writer of that article. Please check your copy with the subjects of your grubby little piece before you go to print. So Roger Waters always has some vitriol and some vigor when he approaches a subject like this. But basically, boiling down, Roger Waters was complimenting Gilmour on his guitar solos, even if he kind of slammed him for his writing contributions to some of these classic Pink Floyd albums. So at least there's some measure of good feelings there, I guess, that it's not a total separation and hatred between the two. At least Roger Waters can still respect the guitar solos that David Gilmour contributes to the band, but, that begs the question of why is Roger Waters re-recording Dark Side of the Moon without guitar solos, essentially. And wouldn't that take away from one of the more special aspects of the album itself? But that seems to not really play into his equation of what he's doing with Dark Side of the Moon. So just a interesting follow-up. There's not much more to say here except the fact that Roger Waters is calling out this writer of this article, saying that he was misquoted and that he'd never say that David Gilmour's guitar solos were crappy or not very good. Of course, he celebrates the guitar solos and David Gilmour's style in the guitar department. So at least he's, not going totally off the rails in terms of appreciating David Gilmour in some respects. So I wanted to give that as a little brief glimpse of hope that maybe there's some reconciliation there in some fashion. Item number 3, Neal Morse announces Morsefest 2023, which will be both in the U.S. and for the first time in Europe also. The U.S. version is going to take place at the New Life Fellowship in White House, Tennessee, August 11th and 12th. It's marking the 20th anniversary of the Testimony album. So Friday evening will be the Testimony album in full, and then Saturday evening will be Testimony 2 in full. And then, of course, both nights there's going to be surprise bonus material on display. And the same exact setup will happen in Europe as well on August 18th and 19th at the Voyager in the Netherlands, with Colin Lingenaar playing percussion with the group. So that should be really, really special. Sorry about the butchering of all the pronunciations, but really cool that it's expanding into Europe. I know a lot of European fans were probably disappointed that these Morsefests take place in the US, and it's somewhat prohibitive to have to travel all that distance, and the tickets are really expensive. So maybe this will make it affordable to another subset of Neal Morse's fan base, so that should be cool. It's going to be all the bells and whistles augmented by choir vocals, string players, percussion, and all sorts of extras, just like all the Morsefests do. It's going to feature the Neal Morse Band as the core band, so that's really exciting. Almost gives me hope that maybe around this time, it'd be cool for them to convene and talk about a new Neal Morse Band album, but who knows? That's pure speculation at this point. But the tickets are on sale for the U.S. version on 9 a.m. February 27th Central Time. $2.99 for a double night ticket, $5.99 for a VIP ticket, and also, of course, there's going to be an Inner Circle concert. Tickets are on sale Tuesday, February 28th at 9 a.m. Central for the Europe version, $325 for a double night ground floor ticket, $180 for a double night balcony standing ticket, and then $625 for VIP. So pricey event, but there's a lot going on with it, so it makes it more than worth the cost for all that you get with all the great expansive music and the getting to convene with fans in this almost convention style, and being able to see more expanded versions of some of these classic albums. If you're a Neal Morse fan, it's a really fun, exciting experience. I've only been to one Morsefest, and that was the one where Spock's performed Snow in its entirety, which was an absolute marvelous experience that I count as one of my favorite concerts of all time. So definitely would recommend if you're able to. I know for a lot of people, and possibly for me too, it's a little bit financially not very possible, but just wanted to mention it because I know several of my viewership are similarly Neal Morse fans, so that was an important piece of news. I think the point of it being also in Europe is pretty cool that Neal Morse is expanding the Morsefest into that arena. So item number 4, I thought this was cool. Voyager has been chosen to represent Australia at Eurovision 2023. And I'll admit that I'm not very well versed in Eurovision. I don't think it's as big or as prominent in the US here. But it's basically, sounds like it's a big contest for different songs from different bands where they crown some band the winner of this big contest. And it seems like it involves a lot of different countries and a lot of different peoples. So that's pretty exciting. But it's cool that Australian electro-proggers Voyager are being chosen to represent Australia. It seems like they tried to submit earlier. They were shortlisted in 2020 with the song Runaway, but failed to make the final 10. But this year they have a track called Promise, which I'm putting as one of the Prog singles that's been chosen for the competition this year. It's a really cool, more poppy sounding song, but with a bit of a, metal prog edge. So I thought that was really cool. So it'll be interesting to see how this shakes out and how they perform at this Eurovision contest. It seems like it's the 67th Eurovision Song Contest taking place at the Liverpool Arena in May. So, and Voyager are working on a follow-up to their latest album, Colors in the Sun, which came out in 2019. So, cool to see the band Voyager having some recognition and moving towards some interesting stuff there with the Eurovision contest. Also, item number 5, kind of blending and blurring into the prog singles list also, is Jethro Tull has a new single out called The Navigators. This is from their upcoming studio album Rock Flute, coming out on April 21st on Inside Out. The Zealot Gene came out last year, which marked a bit of a return for the band. And this seems to be an album somewhat in the same kind of style, but this record is based on characters and roles of some of the principal gods of the Old Norse paganism, and at the same time exploring the rock flute, which Jethro Tull has made iconic. You know, he's definitely well known for the flute. Ian Anderson, the leader of Jethro Tull, I would say at this point, really prominent in the music all throughout their career, obviously. This track in particular, mixed by Bruce Sword, has a video out. The lyrics explore the Norse god Njord, who's the god of wealth, fertility, and the sea, and seafaring. So should be pretty cool single to check out. It's the number 1 pick on my prog singles list, so definitely check out the link below or go to my linked Spotify playlist to listen if you haven't heard it yet. And of course the album is coming out in all sorts of different features, different formats, 2 LP, CD, Blu-ray, art book, 2 CD, Blu-ray, CD digipack, gatefold LP, digital album. So definitely many different formats to enjoy. It's going to have a 5.1 and a Dolby Atmos sound mix and alternative stereo mixes by Bruce Sword from The Pineapple Thief, as well as bonus tracks, in-depth interview with Ian Anderson. So really cool project there from Jethro Tull. If you're enjoying what Ian Anderson is doing in this later period, I think it's a really fun track to check out. So moving into my prog singles list, along with that one, we've got a track from Crown Lands called Lady of the Lake. This is a Canadian prog rock duo. To me, this track sounds a lot like Led Zeppelin, and of course, classic Rush is a really big standpoint from them. They have a new album coming out in March called Fearless on March 31st. Really excited to check out the record. They had a big, long, expanded piece that they've already released from it that I put on my singles list previously. Very Rush-inspired track, but this kind of brought me into the mindset of a band like Greta Van Fleet, a more modern take on classic rock material from the likes of early Rush and Led Zeppelin. They're really carrying that torch forward and bringing classic rock into the modern era. So it's cool to hear this more throwback type sound and these big, really good rock voices bringing this into the hopefully mainstream. So really excited to check out the album, and I think it'll be featured. This track is a really good one, and so I'm hoping the album will be a good one to review on the channel upcoming in March. Like I mentioned, that Voyager track that's being submitted for Eurovision is on my list, called Promise. Another prog single I have is Redemption's latest track called Remember the Dawn. More of an expansive proggier track that I was really enjoying from their upcoming album, I Am the Storm. The album comes out March 17th this year, so not too far away. And then I have a track from Isles called Time, a conversation with my therapist. This is Chilean prog rockers who have an album coming out April 5th. They've released several tracks from it. The album's called Beyond Drama. And I just really like their style. I think it's a really cool, laid-back type song with really good melodies, and it's really interesting to listen to. So those are my prog singles for this week. Really a great list of songs to check out. All of it's in the description below, and let me know what other songs that you guys have uncovered and discovered this week, new prog songs or just new music in general that you think is worth checking out. I'm always happy to check out everybody's suggestions in the comment section. For the channel, I did a couple of collaborative videos with Notes Reviews. I did a Haken album ranking, Haken rankin, as me and my wife like to say. So that was a lot of fun. Check out that video. I also did one on Notes channel talking about the new album Fauna from Haken, so that's a really fun conversation to check out. I'll be doing a full-on review of the new Haken album next week on Tuesday, so check that out if you're a Haken fan and are interested in my full review and take on the new album. I'm also going to do another review on a notable recent release for the Winery Dogs this week, later in the week on Thursday. So if you're interested on my take on the Winery Dogs, or if that sounds like something you may be interested in, please check out that review when it comes out. I also did a review yesterday of We Came From Space and their album Overlords, which I thought was a really fun slice of power pop, classic rock, with little flourishes of prog all bundled into one, featuring Bill Hubauer from the Neal Morse band. Really a cool album, I thought, that was really fun to listen to, so I'd check out that review if you haven't yet. It might be something to your interest if you like the same kind of music that I do. So that was out. Did a little bit more, I don't know if it's obscure, but a lesser known prog track with Jana this past week, Mockingbird. That was a lot of fun from Barclay James Harvest. This week we haven't quite filmed it yet, so we're hopeful that there will be a Prog Sung Sunday, but we just don't know what it will be yet. Of course, we always shuffle into the song, so we'll see, but there should be one coming out on Sunday as usual. So hopefully those things excite you guys. There's a lot of great new music coming down the pipeline that I'm excited to talk about, and just to keep you guys apprised with the Prog News headlines each week. This is a lot of fun to do, so thank you guys so much for your support, and I'm really glad to be a part of this community and to be able to let you guys know about some of the more exciting things in my world. So thank you guys so much, and go out and enjoy the music. Bye, everybody!